At first, I thought the strange noises under my floor were just rats. But then the floor started moving, like something was alive under there. The smell was unbearable, and then I heard whispers calling my name. When I finally ripped the floorboards open, I realized there was something down there. And it wasn't human. I live alone in an old wooden house. It's quiet most of the time, and I actually love that. But a few nights ago, something strange started happening. It was around midnight when I first heard it, a soft scratching sound. At first, I thought maybe it was a rat or a mouse, so I didn't worry too much. But then, the scratching turned into knocking. Slow and steady, like someone tapping from below the floor. I froze for a moment, listening. The sound was coming from the living room. I walked slowly, my heart beating so fast I could feel it in my ears. I leaned down and pressed my ear to the wooden floor. The sound was clear now. Something was moving under there. I told myself, it's nothing, maybe old pipes or air moving. But deep down, I knew this was different. The sound wasn't random, it had a rhythm, like something was trying to get out. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. I checked all around the living room, then the kitchen, and even outside the house. Nothing. Everything looked normal. But when I stepped back inside, the scratching stopped completely. The silence was worse than the noise. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed listening, waiting for it to start again. And it did. Around 3 a.m., the noise came back, scratching and knocking, louder this time. I covered my head with a pillow, trying to ignore it. But a part of me knew this wasn't just a rat. Something was under the floorboards. And it wanted me to know. The next morning, I woke up feeling strange. The whole house smelled bad, like something was rotting. At first, I thought maybe I had left some food out in the kitchen. I checked the fridge, the trash, even under the sink. Everything was clean. But the smell didn't go away. As the day went on, the smell got worse. It was strong, heavy, like dead meat mixed with something wet and moldy. It made me feel sick. I opened all the windows, but it didn't help. The smell was coming from inside the house. That night, when I walked into the living room, I noticed something strange. The smell was strongest there. And not just that, the air felt warmer, like the floor was breathing. I bent down and touched the wood. It felt soft, almost damp. For a second, I thought maybe water was leaking under the floor. But then I remembered the scratching sound from last night. My stomach turned. I tried to ignore it, telling myself it was just an old house. Old houses smell bad sometimes, right? But deep inside, I knew something was wrong. This wasn't normal. Later that night, I sat on the couch, scrolling on my phone, trying to distract myself. But then, the scratching came back. Louder. Closer. And the smell got even stronger, like something dead was right under me. I stood up fast, my heart racing. I backed away from the spot on the floor where the sound was coming from. I could almost feel it now, the movement beneath the wood, like something alive was trapped there. And the smell, oh God, The smell was so strong, it burned my nose. That was the moment I realized whatever was under my floor, it wasn't going away. And it wanted out. The third night was the worst so far. I didn't sleep much because of the smell and the noise. Around midnight, I decided to check the living room again. I turned on all the lights, hoping it would make me feel safe. But nothing about that room felt safe anymore. As I walked closer to the spot where the scratching always came from, something strange happened. The floorboards moved. Just a little. Like something underneath had pushed up. My breath caught in my throat. I stood completely still, staring at the wood. Then it moved again, so slow, like the house was breathing. I told myself, no, this isn't real. I'm imagining it. But then I bent down and placed my hand on the floor. And that's when I felt it. Warmth. The wood was warm, almost soft, like skin. I pulled my hand back so fast, my nails scraped the wood. My whole body went cold. I grabbed my phone and called my best friend, but she didn't answer. I wanted to leave the house, but it was raining so hard outside, and I didn't have anywhere else to go. So I sat on the couch, holding a kitchen knife, staring at the floor. Hours passed. The floor didn't move again, but I could hear faint sounds like something sliding slowly, back and forth. Every now and then, I felt tiny vibrations under my feet, like it was crawling beneath me. That's when the thought hit me, what if it's not an animal? What if it's something else? My heart was beating so hard it hurt. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. The floor wasn't just hiding something. It was alive. And it was waiting for me. That night, I didn't even try to sleep. I sat in my bedroom with the door locked, the lights on, and my phone in my hand. I thought maybe I was losing my mind until I heard it. A voice. At first, it was so soft I thought it was just the wind. But then it came again, clearer this time. A whisper. A whisper coming from the living room. From the floor. I froze. My heart started pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. I held my breath and listened. The voice was calling my name. Slowly, like it was dragging the words through water. Anna. I almost dropped my phone. No one was in the house but me. I knew that. Yet, someone, something, was saying my name from under the floor. I walked to the bedroom door, my legs shaking, and pressed my ear against it. The whispering didn't stop. It got louder, like more voices were joining in. Dozens of voices, all whispering at the same time. Some sounded like children. Some sounded like old people. They were all saying the same thing. Let us out. I backed away from the door, tears filling my eyes. I didn't know what to do. Call the police? Tell them what? That voices were coming from my floor? The whispering continued for hours. It never stopped, not even for a second. It was like they knew I was listening. Like they were waiting for me to answer. I covered my ears, but it didn't help. I could still hear them, inside my head. That was the moment I realized this wasn't just scratching or a smell or a moving floor. Whatever was under there, it was alive, and it wanted me to set it free. I couldn't take it anymore. The voices didn't stop all night. When the sun finally came up, I decided I had to see what was under that floor. I didn't care what it was, I just wanted it to end. I went to the kitchen, grabbed a big knife, and then found an old hammer and a crowbar in the closet. My hands were shaking so badly, I almost dropped them. The voices were quieter during the day, but I could still hear faint whispers when I walked into the living room. The smell was even worse now. It was so strong, it made my eyes water. I stood in the center of the living room, right on the spot where the floor always moved. I took a deep breath and pushed the crowbar between the boards. It creaked loudly. For a second, I thought something would grab me right then. But nothing happened. So I pushed harder. The wood cracked, and the sound echoed through the house. The moment the first board came loose, the smell hit me like a punch in the face. It was so bad, I almost threw up. I covered my nose and kept pulling until there was a big enough hole to see inside. And what I saw was not what I expected. It wasn't dirt. It wasn't pipes. It wasn't even a normal basement. Under the floor, there was a tunnel. A dark, wet tunnel that went deep underground. The air coming out of it was warm and smelled like death. I leaned a little closer, trying to see where it went. That's when I heard it breathing, slow and heavy. And then, a whisper. "Anna, you opened the door." My blood ran cold. I knew then I had made a big mistake. I couldn't move. My hands were gripping the crowbar so tight my knuckles turned white. I stared into the tunnel, my heart beating so loud I thought it would burst. The whisper came again, clearer this time. "Anna, come closer." No. No way. I wasn't going closer. But my body, it didn't listen. My feet moved a little, almost like something was pulling me forward. I leaned over the hole, shaking, and then I saw it. A hand. Not a normal hand. It was pale, almost gray, with long, thin fingers and nails so sharp they looked like claws. It reached out from the darkness, grabbing the edge of the wood. Then another hand appeared. My breath caught in my throat. Something was climbing up. I stumbled back, dropping the crowbar. The floor creaked as those hands pulled a body closer to the opening. Its arms were too long, its skin looked wet, and it moved like it had never walked before. I couldn't see its face yet, but I heard its breathing, slow, heavy, and wrong. I ran to the corner of the room, shaking, holding the knife like it would actually save me. The thing pulled itself higher, and then its head came out of the tunnel. God, it didn't even look human. Its eyes were white, glowing faintly in the dim light. Its mouth stretched too wide, full of sharp teeth. It smiled at me. It smiled. "Anna, thank you," it whispered. That was the moment I realized this thing had been waiting for someone to let it out. And I was the one who did it. I backed into the corner, my hands shaking so hard I could barely hold the knife. The thing crawled out of the hole slowly, like it was enjoying this moment. Every movement of its body made a horrible wet sound, like something sliding through mud. Its arms bent the wrong way. Its legs were thin, too thin to hold its body, but somehow it stood up. It was taller than me, much taller. Its skin was pale and stretched tight over sharp bones. And its smile, that smile was the worst thing I've ever seen. Anna, it said again, in a voice that didn't sound real. It sounded like every whisper I'd heard before, all speaking together through its mouth. I wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't move. The smell was so strong now I could barely breathe. Tears were running down my face. "Why me?" I whispered, even though I didn't expect an answer. It tilted its head, like it was curious. Then it crawled toward me fast. I screamed and swung the knife, but it grabbed my arm. Its skin was cold and slimy. It leaned close, its white eyes staring into mine. "Because you opened the door," it whispered. Before I could scream again, it pulled me toward the hole. I fought, kicking and clawing, but it was too strong. My knife slipped from my hand and clattered on the floor. I felt my body sliding toward the darkness, and the last thing I saw was its smile, that terrible smile, before everything went black. Now the house is silent again. The floor looks normal, like nothing ever happened. But if you press your ear to the wood, maybe you'll hear something breathing, waiting.